Hi guys, welcome back.
Dana and Joe here from Dana, Joe & Co. helping you grow your photography business with one simple video at a time.
Daily tips and helping you build the business that you have always dreamed of.
Because let's be honest, typically when photographers get into business, it's all about taking pretty photos, and then you start trying to be like, okay, now I'm getting paid, what do I do now, right? But
yeah,
we're getting ahead of ourselves. Today we're actually going to be talking about
I was like, wait, what?
Squirrel moment.
And these are unfiltered, uncut, and unedited because we want to show you real life and our thought processes.
And I don't like editing video.
Me neither. It takes too much time and we don't have any extra time.
So today we're talking about identifying your target audience.
Yeah. So if you recall, if you are new here, go back to the first, I think it's like 1 through 5 videos, but we talked about who are you? What type of photographer are you? And if you're just starting out, this is probably more relevant to you because you're seeing different styles and you're trying to figure out what you like. And that was to help you identify that. Now, this video is to be that second teaser to that, which I promised. And you have now figured out what style you like. You know who you are as a photographer. So what I mean by that is, are you light and airy? Are you dark and moody? Are you light and airy and dark and moody? Saw that the other day. Are you bright and colorful? Are you filmy? Are you...
Yeah.
You know another one? I think I have them all, right?
Yeah.
Have you made up a style that we don't know about? Anyways, are you an adventure photographer? Are you an elopement photographer? Are you a big production, extravaganza, high-end, big money wedding photographer? Are you a smaller, intimate, backyard wedding photographer? There's so many different ones. Okay, who are you? You figured it out. Now, how do you identify your target audience? So this is a big one that we talk about all the time. When people are like, how do I make somebody my ideal client? You can't. Everybody should be your technically ideal client if they like your style. That's the first half of the battle. People who are coming to you, who are inquiring about your services, mainly it's probably because they like what they see, right? They like what they see on Instagram, they like what you're posting because you've identified who you are, you've stuck true to that, your grid is consistent, and your branding is on point, right? So now how do you make that particular bride and groom or couple or whatever you're looking at, how do you make them your ideal client? He speaks it best. He always hits it out of the park when he explains it to people. So I'm going to let him take over because, guys, his words shifted my mindset of like, oh my gosh, he's right.
Yeah. They
don't have to be one look, one style, one size. Everybody who likes my work can be my ideal client.
Yeah, so I mean, if you Google, you could easily type up like ideal client or client avatar, right? And you get these worksheets and you will kind of work through the worksheet, and then eventually somebody by the name of like Jane or Rick pops out on the other side. You're like, hey, it's my ideal person, right? But we actually learned this from our coach and mentor in Ben, who basically shifted my mindset, and I was like, oh, that makes complete sense as I kind of went back and started to think about this stuff. So really, ideally, at the end of the day, you do have this kind of like mold, like, hey, these are the people we're going after. And it's important to have that mold because when you're doing marketing, ads, things like that, you have to understand how these people communicate. You have to understand where they are, where they're hanging out, what their interests are. So those guides aren't completely off, right? They do have a use. So I would say we attract a lot of clients who are either in the medical field, they're in their late 20s, they're
late 20s, early
college
30s.
Educated, they're really into
adventure.
their careers. They're into adventure.
They have a passion for kids.
Yep.
We found that out
passion
multiple
for kids.
times, even if they don't have children.
Yep.
Some have children, some are blended families. But all of them, you guys, this has been really cool. I've seen this consistent across the board recently, in the past like year and a half. All of our couples have a passion for imagery, a passion for photos, a passion for seeing something frozen in time, printed on paper to literally relive a moment over and over again. It's not the color of their hair. It's not the size of their body. It's not the type of wedding that they have. It is who they are individually as a person and their values and beliefs that have been literally like every time we have like a lead come in, that we're no like they're us, like they're us. And when you figure that out, when you figure out who that target audience is, it's a wake up call for your business.
Yeah, I think one of our things was it's easy to kind of like judge a book by its cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we've kind of gone away from that and really tried to just dive in and kind of find out who these people are as individuals, because some people have really surprised us where I'm just like, oh, that doesn't look like an ideal client, like, because let's be honest, like sometimes photographers can be shallow and people want to, you know, shoot like freaking models all the time, and it's just that's not realistic.
You guys, it's not
you want
realistic.
people
have
who
lives.
have those attributes, those things that kind of line up with you. So what's interesting is a lot of times when I'm talking to other photographers and like, well, this is my ideal client, what I find is they're looking for people who are like the photographer, right? So we attract people who are similar to us, right? So you think about your friends and you think about the people who you're naturally attracted to, and then if you're in the beginning, I feel kind of all over the place right now. So let's start like if you're just from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would sit down and say, hey, here's all my interests, here's what I like, and then I would go to a few of my close friends and be like, hey, what do you see in me?
Yes.
Like, what do you find appealing about me? What do you find that you get excited about? And then I would do the reverse and be like, okay, look at my friends. Why do I like them as friends? Why do I like them as people? It's probably a good bet that the clients you're going to work with in your photography business are going to be very similar to you and who your friends are, right? You know, they're going to line up with the same kind of belief systems as you. They're going to line up with the same kind of interests as you. And then you go out and you start finding those people. Now, in the beginning, we obviously didn't know this, right? So we shot everything under the sun. We did find that we did attract a lot of those people that we like, but we also attract a lot of people who I was like, I don't want to work with them ever again, kind of a thing. But that's all part of the learning process in the beginning, and it makes your business better because the more that you shoot, the better you are able to identify those people, right, who are quality clients. And what we started to find out is even if they were halfway there, right, so these people love our work, but we don't 100% line up with everything. What we've heard from Ben that I was such a trigger is, what if you put a process in place, you educated the client, and you took that client who is almost your ideal client, right? And you turned them into an ideal client. You made them transform into an ideal client. What I mean by that is, let's say they value imagery, but not on the level that you do as a photographer. By you communicating with them and you breathing some extra truth into their life or a different perspective.
Or giving them a vision of what they could have.
Right.
I.e. books and things like that.
Yep. People who may never considered albums or putting prints on their wall, right?
There are people who've ordered the most.
By communicating with them, the power of print, the power of those moments, the power of those memories, you turn them into that ideal client who is willing to spend money with you, but also values you as a photographer and values the work that you can produce for them, right? Because what you're gonna find is, he broke it down like this too, and it just sticks with me, and I feel like I need to spread the word on this, is you have three types of clients. You got people who have money and don't value your work. Then you have people who value your work but don't have the money. And then the other person who everybody wants is people who value your work but also have the money to pay for you.
And they'll find the money.
Right. So you need to identify who that type of person is. So if they have the money but don't value your work, then you need to really get them like up to speed on why your work's valuable, why you're different than everyone else, why those photos are important, why they should really invest in great photos. Then you have the people who love your work, right? But they just don't have the money. That's when you guide them through, well, there's other ways that you can save money, or here's why you're worthy of investing this amount of money into your photos. So,
and a lot of times they just don't know. You know, they're in the beginning stages of planning, and they see this checklist, and it's like venue or planner, venue, photographer, and they don't even know how much everything else costs yet. And so then they start to see like, oh, I saved money here, and that's where you're their guide. You help provide that knowledge to them of, hey, you can add this on, we can change your collection, nothing is set in stone. You don't want them to feel like they're in a box, but you want them to know that these are things that they could have, and then once they know that they can have it, then they want it, they're going to try to get it.
So we're looking for people who line up with the same values as us, but also who value our work. And I would say somebody who values our work and who is willing to invest in us, that's an ideal client to us. There's no particular look. It's no, particular physical traits. Get rid of the physical traits and really look at what is their heart, what is their mindset, and what do they really care about, and how do they feel about you? Because at the end of the day, even if they have the money to afford you, and let's say you do get them booked, the people who just don't value you as people or your artwork, right? They're just not going to be good clients because they're going to treat you terribly. And at the end,
or you're just going to feel like another vendor.
Yep, you're going to feel like another vendor. You will not be appreciated. No. And honestly, it's not good business. So you want to find those people who are basically on the booth.
Yeah, and there's some amazing couples that we are still friends with to this day that we shot 7 years ago, and one of them, I literally was just talking to her last night. I mean, thinking about like, how did we become, oh my gosh, you were like one of the first weddings we shot, like totally just like aha moment. But it's crazy how you see these people will implant themselves in your lives when they are the right audience for you, that you are giving your time to, because our time is precious.
They value, they cheer you on, they become lead generation because they'll talk to their friends about you, and they tag you, and they have their photos up all over the place. Like, that's what every photographer wants, right? Not only them to have an appreciation for you, but to know that you gave them something that they really value.
So there you go. That's our
Sorry.
Determining earthquake. No, just kidding. Determining your target audience is really determining yourself, honestly. So
figuring out who you want to work with, and then finding those people who line up with your beliefs, your values, and appreciate your work.
Love it. Awesome, guys. Well, if you are in our free Facebook group, drop us a comment below. Let us know how you have discovered who your target audience is. And if you aren't there, give us some traits about yourself. Give us some just who you are as an individual, as a person, and see if we can't help you. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't ever miss a video again. And tune in the next time for another tip to help you grow the business you've always dreamed of. Bye, guys.